Hey, welcome if you are new to my channel, and thanks for coming back if you are a returning subscriber. In today's video, I will explain in simple terms what you need to know about Facebook ads campaign budget optimization and when you should consider using CBO. Now, that is not all. I will also share my strategy that I use to set up my Facebook ads CBO campaigns. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get started with today's tutorial. Okay, so welcome back guys. Now let me explain what CBO is all about, campaign budget optimization. Now we are all used to setting our budget at the ad set level, right? That's what we have on the left hand side here. Can you see? So you create a campaign and you set the budget at the ad set level. So probably you are using 3 ad sets. So ad set 1 $10, ad set 2 $10, ad set 3 $10. Then what will happen is this: when you run this campaign, you don't know the ad set that will perform better, because what will happen is Facebook will spend all of the budget that you have allocated for each of the ad sets. So if ad set 1 is not performing good compared to ad set 2, what will happen is they will still spend the same budget, but the conversion will differ. The conversion, like there will be a huge difference, like a huge gap in the conversion. So that's what happened. Then Facebook introduced CBO, which is campaign budget optimization. I could still remember when they introduced this, I think in 2019, and they even stated they will make it mandatory for advertisers. By default, you'll not be able to set your budget at the asset level, that it will be at the campaign level. But I think they had to revert that policy because people like old advertisers are already used to ABO, not CBO. So here is the thing: I don't use this always, but I will share with you when I use it. Do you get it now? I will share with you when I use it. So what you are basically doing or saying is this: okay, if you want to use CBO, you will be given Facebook the permission. So here is the thing: if you are using campaign budget optimization, what you are doing is you'll be setting your budget at the campaign level. Do you get it now? You set the budget at the campaign level. Then what will happen is, no matter the amount of ad set that you have, do you get it now? Facebook will be the one to allocate your budget accordingly. So what the algorithm will do is, okay, it will look at your ad set, like look at your ad set and look at the best performing ad set. So Facebook algorithm will now allocate more of your budget to the best performing or best converting ad set. Do you get it now? The difference is this: Facebook will use its system, its algorithm, to identify the best performing ad set, best converting ad set, and allocate more budget to it. So ad set 3 might be spending, so let's assume you are on a budget of $20 and you have 3 ad sets, right? Now your ad set 3 is the one converting the most. So what Facebook will do is it will now allocate more budget to budget 3. So budget 2 and budget 1 will also be receiving some budget. Sorry, ad set 1 and ad set 2 will also be receiving some budget, but it will not be as big as ad set 3. If you have to look at this diagram, you see ad set 2 is performing well. Can you see here? It is spending $18. Do you get it now? $18 ad set 2, because it is performing well. So Facebook will show, or we give it more budget. It will allocate more budget to the ad set. Can you see ad set 3? Just to conversion, it spent $5 ad set 1. So can you see the difference now? So at the end of the day, total conversion for ABO, if you are spending $30, that is what 10 conversion. But if you are spending $30 using CBO, this is what 15. So I need to explain this in a way you can understand before we delve into the Facebook Ads Manager. Before we delve into the Facebook Ads Manager and show you how you can set it up. Now, another funny thing I hear people say is this. Yes, everybody, we are now used to, almost everybody or virtually everyone I know now make use of the zero targeting or broad targeting. You'll be like, yes, Facebook has a system or an algorithm that they use, because if you could just leave your campaign to run, just set your age, set your location, and set your ad properly, that you don't need to put interest and all of that, that Facebook will just show your ads to people that are willing to buy. That is fine. I also make use of zero targeting, but trust me, to get to a point whereby that zero targeting won't work again. Yeah, you can create new, create new ads, launch new creative and all of that, but do you know that if you have an ad that is already converting, like really converting, you already know this ad converts and it has gathered a whole lot of social proofs or engagement. So the wise thing to do is to just show that ad to more people. So this is part of the strategy which I will be sharing with you. So I see no reason why you use zero targeting. You trusted Facebook ad system to show your ad to to the best people that will buy, and you batch using CBO. Like, you could not trust Facebook in that instance, that okay, you don't trust if Facebook will show your ads to the best audience or to the best ad set. Can you see that you are contradicting yourself? So the thing is, if you could use zero targeting, then you should also be able to use CBO. That is the logic, or that is the point I'm trying to drive here. So in case you use the zero targeting and you're like, no, I don't like a CBO, it's all good, but you trusted Facebook at first, but now you're not trusting Facebook. That is crazy. In fact, one of our best performing campaign now is the one we are currently running with the CBO, and I'll be sharing with you the same strategy that I use when launching with CBO. Funny enough, I don't use it always. There is a time when I use it. Now, another thing is this. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Let me explain the way I break down my strategy. I'll just share with you briefly the way I break down my strategy. So let's assume we are launching a new campaign or a new product, because I'm into e-commerce, right? It could be digital or physical product. Now, what I do first is, if I can use zero targeting, I will. You get it now? I will use zero targeting, then we will get conversions, right? But the thing is, if you want to run a sustainable campaign, imagine there is a product that we have sold over 3,000 pieces of the product. So I have tested different things, like we have tested different things, different strategy. We have created different creatives. Like, I've tested almost everything in the books that is available. I've tested, because we keep selling the product because it works and it is selling. So we kept selling. We are still, in fact, as I speak now, we are still selling that product. So what I'm trying to say is this: it will get to a point, zero targeting won't really convert again. So you need to deploy some other strategy. So here is the thing: if you are selling probably just few pieces of your product, you might not need to go through all of this. You can just launch your zero target. But if you want to sell multiple products, like you want to sell many products, then you should watch this. You should keep on watching this. So here is the thing: first thing, you want to launch your zero targeting campaign. You get your order. Now the next stage is to launch with different assets. Now, so when I make use of CBO, I make sure I have tested. Another thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have tested your copy, tested your creative. So I don't really use CBO to test copy and creative. Now I'm talking about my own personal way of using CBO. all advertisers have their own way and approach. Do you get it now? I'm talking about the one I have used, the one I've tested, the one I'm currently using that gives me results. Do you get it now? So the first thing is you want to have run your zero targeting, and funny enough, you can use that zero targeting to test your creatives. Do you get it now? So let's assume you have 3 creatives. Just create one campaign, one ad set. Create one campaign, one ad set. Then you have probably 3 ads with different creative. Don't forget the rule of testing. You just want to test one thing at a time. You don't want to test multiple things. So when you have tested that, when you have gotten, and you let it run for some days or probably a day, but a day, the truth is a day won't really, because you might get good results with a creative today and tomorrow it is turning out bad. You get it now? But what you can do is you can turn off after a day. You can turn off those that are not performing at all, but those that are still performing, you can leave them, let it keep running probably for a day or 2 or 3, depending on your budget. Trust me, the thing is you can even know the best performing creative after a day. That is it. But trust me, there are sometimes these things just works like magic. What does not convert, or what did not convert in the previous day, could bring in more conversion the next day. So you want to make sure you give your campaign enough time to optimize. Do you get it now? So that's the word. So once you have tested your creative, when you have your best performing creative, now the next thing you can do is to now start using different audience. So when you have your best copy, your best creative, you now start testing this best copy and best creative against different audience. Do you get it now? You test it against different audience. And the thing is this, you don't even need to kill the campaign with the zero targeting. You can still leave it, let it keep running. Do you get it now? Leave that, let it keep running. Then what you do is you set up another campaign. Now this campaign is where you now set up the CBO campaign. I'm talking about the way I use this CBO campaign. So the idea behind this is you showing your best performing ad copy and ad creative. You are showing to different audience. Now the sweetest part of this is, let's assume you want to test 10 audiences. You don't need to start allocating $10 for each of the assets, as I explained earlier on. If you have to do that, that's like $100 per day, and you might not have that such large budget. But still, you don't want to have many assets. So I will also be sharing with you some things you need to consider. You don't want to have many, like too many assets. Our advice, you can start with 3 depending on your budget, but I make use of 3. You can start with 3 or 5, but I use 3 a lot. So you create 3 assets. Now, and also it depends on the type of audience you are trying to test. If it is lookalike audience, you can do 3 to 5 assets. But if you are doing interest targeting, you can move it to like 7 assets. Now this is what I would advise you do. Make sure you are not testing lookalike audience and interest audience in the same campaign. They are kind of different. Do you get it now? So what you want to do is, okay, let's assume you want to set up a CBO campaign. What will I do? I'll click on create. So let me show you how it is done. Click on create, and you click on what? Conversion. So I'll click on continue here. So there are 2 instances. The first one is when you are testing using interest. You get it now? People, I don't know why people badge interest targeting. That interest targeting does not work. But trust me, if you want to sustain your campaign, after you have used this thing, your zero targeting, you still want to use some interest targeting. Even if you not use interest targeting, you can leverage on lookalike audience, which I'm coming back to that. So at this campaign level, you just scroll down. You see campaign budget optimization. You toggle it on. Then you will be able to set your daily budget. I prefer daily budget here. Now you see the column to input the daily budget. So this is what I do. If you're on budget, like you don't really have much budget, what I do is, depending on the number of ad sets I allocate, I will say, okay, I'm willing to allocate $5 per ad set. So if I'm running with 5 ad sets, that is what, $25 for the campaign. Do you get it now? So I'm telling Facebook, okay, this $25, I want you to spread it across all of this campaign. So another thing CBO will do for you is, you can even spend more. I'm not saying you feed it with more than enough budget now, but you can still spend more. Unlike ABO, normally on my ABO I don't really go more than $10, because I've tried increasing the budget, increasing it and all of that. I'll keep getting bad results. So I noticed $10 is just good for ABO. But when you are using CBO, you can decide to go above that. I'm talking about my personal experience now. Do you get it now? So you can use $20, $25, but if you cannot use that budgeting model, if you're on budget, you can just, let's say, depending on your ad set as well, you can say, okay, I would allocate $20 to this, or I'll allocate $10. Just spend according to how much you can afford. But I will tell you this, the amount you also spend will also determine the way your campaign will work. Do you get it now? Because when you allocate let's say $10, and you are testing 10 different ad sets, trust me, you are trying to give Facebook problem of showing your ad, because you want Facebook to show your ad to as many people as possible so that you can make your decision. Do you get it now? So you want to make sure you're not having too many ad sets. You get it now? So that's one of the things you want to consider. So let's assume we are using $20. So I see no reason why you should be afraid to spend money. So far you get a good result. So $20, right? Now you go to your asset level. So here, what you do here is you set your pixel, do everything you need to do. This is actually a test account that I use. The reason why you don't see most of my campaign is because currently we actually have 6 different campaigns running concurrently at the same time. But the thing is, there is this discipline. This is what most advertisers won't tell you. There is a discipline that I've tried to inculcate in myself. I run all of these different campaigns on different users of my PC. They get it now? I run on different users. So I'll need to log out this particular user to be able to access an account that we use for running adverts. So I actually created, I'm just sharing this tip with you if you are tired of Facebook ban. By the way, I have a program on how you can limit Facebook ban. You can just send me a DM or something. So what I do is I create different users and I launch my campaign on different accounts. No, you cannot see all of my accounts in the same user account, the same PC user account. So they are different. So that's why this particular account is dedicated for testing. That's why I don't see most of my adverts. And again, I don't even like showing my ongoing campaigns. So that's why you're not seeing. So this is just a test account that I use for tutorials. Okay, so let's continue. So yeah, now let me talk about the interest targeting of a team. What you need to consider. First thing is this: you want to make sure you are targeting interest with similar audience size. You don't want to have like 5 different audience, and out of these 5 different audience, one of the audience is having about, let's say, 1 million potential reach. The other one is having 200,000 potential reach. Can you see there is a huge difference? Automatically you are telling Facebook just allocate more budget to the 1 million, the one with the 1 million audience size. So what you want to consider is, while you are picking your interest, you want to make sure they are what similar in size. Do you get it now? So if you are using interest targeting, make sure they are what similar in size. So what you do is you just select just come to this detailed targeting, then you search for whatever interest. Okay, let's say I'm selling fitness related product or something. So I just search for, can you see? I'll search for this and I will select it. So another thing you want to do is, you don't want to have too much audience in one ad set. You can just test one audience per ad set. So I would do this. I'll make sure I've set every other thing here. Do you get it now? I'll pick physical fitness, then I'll duplicate, then I will select another interest, duplicate, select another interest. So at the end of the day, you have one campaign, you have one multiple ad sets. Let's assume you are trying to run with 5 interests, so you have 5 ad sets that way. So 1 interest per ad set. Then you will not make use. What you do is, I see some people tell you you should have multiple ads in your ad set. That is fine, that might work for them, but what I advise you do is, don't forget the first thing I said earlier on when I started this tutorial was, make sure you have tested your creative, your ad copy and all of that. So you now use your best performing ad inside all of these ad sets. So the ad will be identical. You get it now? You want to have identical ad under all of the ad sets, so they will be different. So the only thing, so you don't want to have a bias decision. You don't want to make a biased decision. You want to make sure you have set everything properly. Another thing is this: if you do not set your campaign and everything is properly, you won't get results with CBO. You want to make sure you have set it up the right way. So this is why I only use it after I have tested and done everything I need to do using ABO. The only time I use CBO is when I want to check or scale with multiple audiences or see the best performing audience. Do you get it now? So it is very simple. Use interest with similar potential reach or audience size, and as well make sure this interest, you don't want to have too much interest jam packed in one ad set. One interest is okay per ad set. So you run this campaign and you will see the way to perform. You will see some interest outperforming other interests. Do you get it now? So what I would advise you do is, in fact, if possible, if you have your way, don't even touch CBO campaign. Now, another thing I would like to talk about is this: if you are not patient enough, you cannot use CBO. That is it. Because what you are trying to tell Facebook is, Facebook, I'm giving you the power to what? Optimize my campaign. So Facebook will be the one to optimize the campaign. What you need to do at your own end is to make sure you have set up the campaign, ad set and ad properly. Make sure you have done that properly. Then what you do next is what? You give Facebook the power. Okay, Facebook, I want you to show my ads to the best ad set or to the best audience. So if you are just starting with Facebook, you might not consider this CBO, but if you think it's something you can do, then you can go ahead. Do you guys understand? So it is as easy as that. So you set up, if you don't know how to set up your conversion campaign, I actually have a tutorial on how you can set up Facebook ads conversion campaign. If you don't know how to do that, so just go check the tutorial. I'll put the link in the description. You can as well click on the link you are seeing, or on the card you are currently seeing on your screen at the top right corner of your screen, or you just visit the link you are currently seeing on your screen. So go watch the tutorial on how you can set up conversion ads in case you don't know how to. So you just set up your conversion ads and you are good to go. So that is actually the first way of doing it. So after you have run this for a while, you start getting results and all of that. So you want to also scale with LookAlike audience. So let me now give you a breakdown of how I do this. Let me give you a breakdown of how I do this. Now you go to your audience you should know how to create audience, right? I'll not be creating audiences here because this is just a dormant account, right? So you go to your audience. Now you create about 4 to 5 custom audiences, and I will tell you the audiences you create. Number one, you create audience for your buyers, like your buyers audience. That is your hot audience. That is people that have bought from you. You create that audience. You create that custom audience. You create custom audience of people that have visited your website. Now let me explain something here. There is an audience that most people don't know about, like a custom audience that you can create that most people don't know about, or most people don't even talk about it. And the audience is called page depth audience. Now let me explain what this type of audience are. This audience are people that have visited your sales page or your website or your landing page, and they have scrolled to a certain percentage of your website. So probably you have a copy, right? You have a copy, and they read the copy, like they are reading the copy. So they got to an extent where they did not later purchase whatever you are selling. So you can either create this custom audience to retarget them, or create this custom audience to reach similar people that will also read or scroll through your website or your web page to that extent. So you can set, okay, you want to create custom audience of people that visited your sales page and also scrolled at least 80% of your sales page, or 50% of your sales page. Trust me, that is even good. That is better compared to people that just visited your sales page. So there is a way I create it. Although there is a long method to it, and there is also a short method to it. I make use of a plugin, though it is not free. Pixel Your Site, it is not free. With that plugin, you can easily set this type of custom event and then create your custom audience. So in case you don't know how to use a Pixel Your Site, or you don't even know what Pixel Your Site is, there is a tutorial that I did on how you can install Pixel. The last tutorial I did on how you can install Pixel, Facebook Pixel. Go watch it. I use that plugin to install Pixel. So you just look at it. There is a way you can create such audience. So you want to create all of this custom audience. Your buyers, people that scrolled 50% or 80%. I actually use 80%. If you could scroll 80%, and trust me, at a point that 80% was even converting more than, I'm talking about the lookalike audience now, it's converting more than our purchase lookalike audience. That's just crazy. I don't know how that happened, but it is crazy like that. So you want to target people. So you want to create all of this custom audience, purchases, people that scrolled 80%. You can also create a custom audience of people that watched your video, probably 75% of your video or 95% of your video. I prefer to do 95%, but this also depends on the length or how much you have spent on a campaign, and the number, the period in which the campaign has been running. You know, the period will also determine the number of data you have gathered. So you want to put all of this into consideration. So you create all of these custom audiences, people that are also engaged with your ads or with your page. So you create all of these audiences, and you now create a lookalike audience of this custom audience that I've talked about. The purchasers, the buyers, people that scrolled 80%, people that watched 75 or 95 video of your Facebook ads creative, people that also engage with your people that also engage with your ad, with your page, click on your advert and all of that. So you create all of this custom audience, and you create a lookalike audience. So you create this lookalike audience. You can start with 1%. Now you create 1%. Listen, I'm telling you what I do. Create 1% each of these audiences. Then what you do is, after you have created 1% each of these custom audiences, so where you have this custom audience, you select it. Then when you click on this, you see lookalike. You see lookalike audience. then you're able to select the audience. So you create, let's assume you have 5 lookalike audiences now. So you create all of the lookalike audiences. So at set 1, you can have lookalike 1% lookalike audience of purchasers. At set 2, you have 1% lookalike audience of people that scrolled 80% of your website. At set 3, do you get it now? So you do all of that, then you launch the campaign and you see what happens. Do you get it now? You launch the campaign and you see what happens. So I've shared, the first one I share with you is the interest targeting technique. Now I'm talking about the lookalike method. That is the second method. So this lookalike method, now when you run with 5 ad sets with different lookalike audiences, you will notice at the end of the day, just few of these ad sets will perform. It could be the purchasers, the number of people that scrolled 80%, and probably one more ad set. Those are the 3 that will perform. So another thing you can do, in case you have many products and you are trying to be creative, and what I'm trying to say here is that you just keep launching. I'm not telling you to keep launching until Facebook shut down your account. Do you get it now? So let it breathe, let those campaigns run. Do you get it now? Let it run. But if you see that you're already getting the result is not consistent again and all of that, what you can do is now use what you can do after then is now use super lookalike audience. Super lookalike audience is when you now create, now after you have known the best lookalike audience, okay, let's say out of the 5, 3 are performing. So what you do is you now create, before you created just 1%, right? Now you now create 1 to 2%, 2 to 3% of those lookalikes. Do you get it now? You create 1 to 2% of purchasers, 2 to 3% of purchasers, 3 to 4% of purchasers. Then when you are done with that, you move to the next performing or next best performing audience or lookalike audience. If it is people that scrolled 80%, which I'm very sure it will perform. So you create 1 to 2% of people that scrolled 80%, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. You create everything just the way you created the first one. So when you have created all of this, you will now create a new CBO campaign. Now in this new CBO campaign, what you do is you now use super lookalike. You now merge all of the 1% lookalike audience. You merge all of the 1 to 2% lookalike audience. So what you now have is this: in assets 1, you have 1% of all of the best performing lookalike that you tested earlier. Do you get it now? That will be for asset 1. Asset 2 will now be, you create another asset. I'm sharing this strategy that I'm sharing with you is what people attend master classes, mastermind to learn. Do you get it now? So asset 2, you create another asset, and that asset you now have 1% to 2% that you created. Do you get it now? 1% to 2% that you created of all best performing lookalike audience. So you do everything. So at the end of the day, you'll be having like 5 new assets. Then you also launch it. You launch it and you study it. Trust me, if you do this, you'll be amazed with the amount of results you will get. Do you get it now? So this is very, very okay for people that keep selling one particular product. So guys, if you have been enjoying this video, like you are really enjoying it, do well to like the video, give it a thumbs up so that YouTube can show it to more people that are looking for similar video tutorial. Do you get it now? So give it a thumbs up, and if you have questions, do well to ask in the comment section below. So guys, when you do all of this, you have different things to test and they will keep bringing results. Imagine you want to sell 3,000, 5,000, 2,000 pieces of your product. Trust me, just using zero targeting won't help you. I've sold over 3,000 pieces of a product and we are still selling it. So I have tested different strategy, so I know what I'm saying. If I'm telling you to do this, just do it, because I'm talking based on my experience, not based on selling 100 pieces or 200 pieces. So guys, so I think that is it. Another thing you can do is this. If you want to use this custom this lookalike audience, depending on your country, there are some country that has a very large audience size compared to Nigeria. Nigeria does not have too broad audience size when you are using lookalike, when you are creating all of this lookalike audience. But countries like US, Canada, and all of that, so it depends on the country that you are creating this audience around. So you can decide to do, instead of doing 1%, 2%, 1%, 1% to 2%, 2% to 3%, what you can do is you can do 1 to 3, then 3 to 5. You get, just pick like merge like 2 2. The reason why I say you should merge like 2 2 is for you to have at least a broader, like a broader audience size, and also they are kind of not too big, like they are similar. So that's what you can do. But if it depends on where you are watching, because I know people watch from US and some other countries. But if your country has, like, the lookalike audience has a very huge audience size, just do 1%, 1% to 2%, as I have explained earlier on. Another thing you can do is this. You can as well use this CBO to target different countries. So let's assume you are selling, probably a dropshipper, or you are selling your course to different countries. It could be in Africa or outside Africa. So let's assume you are targeting, let me talk about Africa now. Let's assume you are targeting Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, and some other African country. What you can do is you can have all of this country in different ad sets, then use CBO. So you will tell Facebook, I want you to show this advert campaign to the best performing country. So these are things you can do. You can even use it. Listen, what you need to understand why you're using CBO, this CBO strategy is this. Or let me put it this way. When I use CBO strategy, I only use CBO when I am trying to show my ad to a new set of audience that is not zero targeting, or that is not a zero based targeting. You get it now? When I need to show my advert to different set of audiences, I want to know, okay, which of this audience will give me the best result, then I use what? CBO. Trust me, CBO is just the best strategy to use when you want to show your advert, your best performing advert, to different audience. It could be interest based audience, lookalike audience, and all of that. So I think this explanation is simple. I've tried to break it down in a way you can easily understand. So guys, what will happen is this. If you got value from this video, do well to like the video, comment if you have questions, also share the video with your friends. And if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, do well to hit the subscribe button below and also turn on the bell notification. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.